Hey everyone, Georgetown Soaps here. I am making a fragrance. It's called Mahogany Teakwood, and it's a white barn or Bath & Body Works type fragrance, and it smells amazing. I think it's definitely a masculine scent, but I know I've used this in candles, and a lot of women are buying the candles just for themselves and for their homes. So it's a really nice, just earthy, woodsy, just real sexy cologne type scent for men, so it's fantastic. The official fragrance description is fine wood fragrances of mahogany and teak wood intertwined with hints of clean lavender with some geranium. It's got some oak wood and cedar wood, and it just smells amazing. I know sometimes the descriptions are kind of funny, but when you put everything together, it smells amazing. So what I also needed to do was I needed to make some coffee bean embeds because I'm going to test some coffee fragrances for BeScented. So I wanted to make some coffee bean embeds. So instead of using melt and pour, because a lot of people will use melt and pour for their embeds because it's really quick and easy, I don't like having to put all the ingredients listed on melt and pour onto the label of my soap. So I just thought, well, let me take just 2 ounces out of my soap excuse me, out of my soap batter, and so I'll make cold processed embeds. Because originally I was like, well, let me just make like a half a pound, amount of soap. But I was like, well, that's a really small batch of soap, and it was probably going to be hard to, or more of a pain just to measure out the exact ingredients in such small quantities. So one of my girlfriends also makes soap, Angie. She said, why don't you just go ahead and take a little bit out when you're making another batch of soap and just use that. And so that was just like bulb moment. It was brilliant. And so that's what I did. So I went ahead and, because they're going to be coffee beans, I used I think dark chocolate color from BeScented. And so these molds are tiny. It's super, super tiny. I know you can kind of see here, but they're like less than the size of a penny. So these molds are super small. But I went ahead and just making some embeds here, and they of course hardened up super, super quick. So this was just my little interlude to making some cold processed embeds. All right, so embeds are done. I'm gonna just go ahead and throw them in the oven so they can kind of set up. Just get them out of the way. And then I like to try and clean up in between. Made a couple splatters. So I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up in between, and then we're gonna get going to making the actual soap for this video, the full Mahogany Teakwood. And so here I am. I've already made several batches of this before. This batch is actually in particular for a soap swap. And so what a soap swap is I'm in a small group of pretty advanced soapers, or experienced, I guess I would use the word. And once in a while we get together and we pick a vendor and we make soaps, and then everyone sends, like, 25 bars to the point of contact, and then that point of contact collects all the soaps and then sends everything out. So you send out about 25 bars, but then you get 25 bars back. So I think it's going to be a lifetime supply of soap. It'll definitely get me through a couple months personally for our house. But it's nice to always test other soap makers' soaps and just get to see other fragrances that maybe I hadn't picked before that someone else really liked. So anyway, I had to make 2 batches. So this is the first batch for the soap swap. And with this fragrance can do funny things. One time it will turn your soap like a hint of purple, and then the next time it won't. I have no idea what goes on with that. So it's just kind of bizarre. But knowing that, I just work that into my design. And to me, Mahogany Teakwood is like browns and blacks and real dark colors. So with this, I decided to just do 2 shades of black. So this is the activated charcoal, and I just used a tiny, tiny amount. So it turned out a little bit gray, and then in the larger amount, I just went ahead and did more black. And then I did do the white portion, just so, if people are interested, they will be able to see exactly how much, it may or may not tint this little weird shade of purple. It's just funny, because some batches I make, doesn't do it. Another batch will make, it will do it. So I just kind of built that into my design so that I may not necessarily want a full purple bar of soap if I were doing it just uncolored. So I just went ahead and built that into my design. And quite frankly, I love doing charcoal soaps. I get a lot of requests for those anyway, so it's a fabulous fragrance, so you just kind of work around that. But I'm just getting all my getting my colors mixed in. You can see I've mixed. It didn't accelerate, it didn't rice, it just behaved perfectly. And so here I've got my mold. This is the Sapphire mold from BeScented. It is a 5-pound mold, and I like it because I can throw the soaps into the oven and they pop out really easily. The molds do not need to be supported. They hold up very well on their own. And so here I just decided, normally I do a chopstick swirl for basically everything, but I decided to maybe try more of a drop swirl. I probably should have split the colors out a little bit more evenly doing a drop swirl, but I actually really like how it came out. So when you see the cut, I think it worked out fine. Sorry, I don't know what the camera was doing. It was like auto focusing. But anyway, I'm just kind of pouring my colors in, doing my little drop swirl, and I will bring you guys back for the cut. And here we are back for the cut. I think the soap sat in the oven probably for 2 days. Just it was more of a function of the soap's usually ready after 24 hours, but it was just a function of time. As you can see, it's kind of a really cool drop swirl. It's not like your traditional drop swirl, but it's more just kind of color blocks. So I actually really liked how this came out. I like the contrast of the dark with the lighter, and then the lighter gray, and then the white. So anyway, I'm going to let you guys finish up watching the cut, but thanks so much for watching, and thank you for subscribing to my channel, and I will see you guys soon.